Edgefield Live, Wild, Prime Minister's Questions, House of Parliament, UK 24. Time's down there. The date today is the
Mr. Speaker, I'm
13th of March, Wednesday afternoon, 2024.
Air pollution has reduced significantly since 2010, and due to our targets, partly due to our legally binding targets to reduce concentrations, they will continue to reduce over the following years. And on top of that, we've also provided almost £1 billion to help local authorities across the country implement local plans to reduce to and make sure that we can support those impacted by those plans.
Amendment rejected.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I understand the latest scheme that's been considered is to pay migrants thousands of pounds to leave Britain. Prime Minister, let's just leave the ECHR and deport them for free. So far, over 40,000 Brits have signed my petition with the Conservative Post calling for us to leave the European Convention on Human Rights. Will the Prime Minister commit to leaving the ECHR, or at the very least, have it in our manifesto to have a referendum and let Britain decide?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, my honourable friend is absolutely right that we must do everything we can to secure our borders, ensure that those who come here illegally do not have the ability to stay. That's why our Rwanda scheme and legislation is so important. And what I've said repeatedly, and will happily say to her again, is that I will not let a foreign court block our ability to send people to Rwanda when the time comes.
It's a lot of money in that, mate. Loads of money spent on it.
Theatre production Nye, which stars Michael Sheen, celebrates at the end a transformational increase in life expectancy since the founding of the NHS. But UCL findings indicate that austerity policies between 2010 and 2019 are responsible for a 3-year setback in life expectancy progress. Does he, or the leader of the opposition for that matter, think public services can withstand an extra £20 billion of cuts?
Yeah, well, Mr. Speaker, first of all, I'm pleased that the National Theatre received significant funding from the Chancellor in the recent budget to support their fantastic work across the UK. But I am surprised to hear her raising the NHS when it's her party that's propping up the Welsh Labour government in Wales, which has absolutely the worst NHS performance of any part of the United Kingdom.
Mr. Speaker, may I thank my right honourable...
It's because the NHS has been underfunded by your party, mate.
...to discuss the plight of victims of COVID-19 vaccine damage. May I ask him, following that discussion and his very sympathetic response during the GB People's Forum to Mr. John Watt, who himself is a victim of COVID-19 vaccine, the government will be supporting my COVID-19 vaccine payments bill this Friday.
Mr. Speaker, can I thank my honourable friend for raising the issue and the conversation that I had with him previously, and extend my sympathies to all of those who have been affected by this. I will have to make sure that he can meet with the Secretary of State to discuss his bill, and as I committed to him, we are looking at the issue in some detail to make sure that the policies we've got are providing the support that they need to.
Marshal Ricardo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister stood outside Downing Street saying that he wanted to root out hate and extremism.
Can you imagine?
Yet it shamefully took him more than 24 hours to finally say the remarks by the Tories' biggest donor that looking at the Right Honourable Member for Hackney North and Stoke Newington makes you want to hate all black women were indeed racist.
Yep.
In November, the Prime Minister accepted a non-cash donation to the tune of £15,000 from Frank Hester for the use of his helicopter. So will he reimburse him, yes or no?
No, Mr. Speaker, and I'm pleased that the gentleman is supporting a party that represents one of the most diverse governments in this country's history, led by this country's first British Asian Prime Minister.
Thank you very much.
Very, very wild, isn't it, guys?
Today, I look forward to voting for tax cut for thousands of my constituents. A national insurance tax cut that will mean £900 off the tax bill for thousands of my constituents. After listening to the rhetoric from the leader of Does the Prime Minister expect that the main opposition party will vote against this afternoon's tax cuts?
Well, my right honourable friend raises an excellent question, because whilst on this side of the house we believe in a country where hard work is rewarded and people can keep more of their hard-earned money, which is why we're cutting their taxes by an average of £900 each, we hear consistently from the party opposite, not only do they disagree with that approach, they continue to cling to unfunded spending promises that would put taxes up, but also the Shadow Chief Secretary of the Treasury, we learned just yesterday, described our plan to end
The wheels are running off him, aren't they, guys? This is very wild.
And that is a contrast between
What applications he's
Labour will
got.
put your taxes up and the Conservatives will keep cutting them.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Many of his backbenchers, and now it seems the Prime Minister himself, have taken to referring to the European Court of Human Rights as a foreign court, as if there's something inherently wrong with things being foreign or people being foreign. In what way?
Exactly, Richard Chanel. What you're saying is very biased.
Which has an Irish president and a UK justice with an LLB from Dundee, be considered foreign? I think the House needs to hear the Prime Minister commit today to the UK's continued membership of a court and a convention which protected rights and freedoms for over 70 years.
Mr. Speaker, when it comes to tackling illegal migration, when Parliament expresses a clear view on what it believes should happen, supports that with legislation, and that we believe we are acting in accordance with all our international obligations, I've been very clear that I will not let a foreign court stop us from sending illegal migrants to Rwanda. That is the right policy, and in fact the only way to ensure security of our borders and end the unfairness of illegal migration.
It's very wrong and very expensive, mate.
A general election is not just a mere expression of opinion, but a serious choice. Will my right honourable friend agree that there is only one potential party of government that has the will, the inclination and the determination to stop mass illegal and legal migration, and that is the Conservative Party? Let's unite our movement to do that!
I agree with my honourable friend entirely. I agree with my honourable friend.
Yeah, but it's costing us taxpayers more money now.
Because not only has the honourable gentleman opposite opposed the scheme, he's been clear that even when the scheme is implemented and working, he will still scrap it, Mr. Speaker, which tells you everything you need to know. On this issue, their values are simply not those of the British people. There's only one party that's going to stop the boats. It's the Conservative Party.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Under this Conservative government's watch, Thames Water have dumped over 72 billion litres of sewage into London's rivers, all whilst racking up multi-billion-pound debts. And reports are now that they could go bust any day. Despite this, the government is still refusing to publish their contingency plans for the collapse of our country's biggest firm. So,
That'll affect a lot of people, that will.
Does the Prime Minister believe that Thames Water will still exist by the end of the year?
Prime Minister?
Yeah, well, Mr. Speaker, it wouldn't be right for me to comment on individual companies, but all I can say is that our ambitious storm overflow reduction plan is backed by £60 billion of capital investment. We now monitor every single storm overflow across England and have legislated to introduce unlimited penalties on water companies that breach their
Been going on since I was a child.
independent regulators.
The last 30 years, this house, guys. You all know it.
Powers they need to hold
On
water
the beach.
companies wherever they are to account.
Across the UK, widely.
Yeah. Later this year, a new digital EU border system will come in, and yet key changes that require key details have still not been decided by the EU. There are urgent decisions that are needed for funding and preparation to keep Dover clear and Kent moving through with its traffic. Can my right honourable friend the Prime Minister assure me that this issue is being taken seriously at the highest levels of government, and that funding and support will be made available to keep Dover clear, support the residents of Dover and Deal and Kent, and to secure our vital cross-channel trade and tourism?
Prime Minister.
No, one of my friends tried to raise this issue, and I can assure her that it is being discussed at the highest levels of government between UK ministers and EU and French counterparts to make sure that we have practical and constructive solutions that will ease the flow of traffic in the way that she describes and will benefit her local communities.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 115
8 days, and there was no peace and no justice. There was no food, there was no clean water, there was no sanitation, and no medical aid. There are just no words left, as disease is spreading and the death toll is rising, not least amongst children, victims of these atrocities. It is evident that the Prime Minister's plan is not working. So will he change track for the sake of these children and so many more, and work to secure a bilateral, immediate ceasefire between Israel
He's in Gaza.
Prime Minister.
Well, Hamas in Gaza.
Mr. Speaker, I've said repeatedly that we are incredibly concerned about the growing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Too many civilians have lost their lives and nowhere near enough aid is getting through. And in contrast to what the Honourable Lady said, actually the UK is playing a leading role in alleviating that suffering, just recently increasing the amount of aid this year to £100 million. Just today, 150 tonnes of UK aid is due to arrive in Gaza, and a full field hospital flown from Manchester to the Middle East last week will also arrive in Gaza in the coming days, staffed by UK and local medics to provide life-saving.
Yeah, but it's too little, too late again.
Everything we
Tories,
can,
Tories,
working
Tories
with
slightly
our
for you.
allies to bring much-needed aid to the people.
Can't
of
trust the
Gaza.
Tories. Can't trust the Tories.
Mr. Speaker, will my right honourable friend join me in thanking the maternity team at the Royal Cornwall Hospital at Trellis in my Truro and Falmouth constituency for all their outstanding work they've done to improve maternity services over the last few years. Their sheer hard work, along with the coming new Women and Children's Hospital, mean that there are now no midwifery vacancies in Cornwall, which I think you'll agree is a fantastic achievement.
Well, can I thank
positive
my
stuff, I
honourable
guess.
friend for highlighting the improvement in maternity services at the Royal Cornwall, and she in particular is a tireless campaigner for reducing baby loss, and I commend her for her recent work on the introduction of baby loss certificates. And as she knows, we are committed to a new Women and Children's Hospital for my Honourable Friends Local Trust in 2030 as part of the new hospital programme.
Please subscribe to my show on Sunday. This is my friend Spark and Jimbo every Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. ITF Friday Feeling. Surrey Hills Radio Station Show. And this is my friend Shane for the Years every Friday with Cindy Lou, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. live on the Surrey Hills Radio Station Show every Friday. And this is my friend John, the last show every Sunday at 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. live on the Woking Radio Station Show every Sunday. Please subscribe to it on Sunday. I travel places, I go places. It's my best. Watch the video. Bye.